Going live. You're live! Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade once again on DX11 and without dynamic resolution. How are you guys doing? Welcome on the GTX 1050 Ti, 6050 Super and RX 570, more GPUs to come in a separate video. And thanks to Square Enix for providing a code of the game. So I forgot to put that there. So there's been more discoveries regarding this game, and right now there is a DX11 mode and there's a mod to disable dynamic resolution. So if you check this video, my previous video on this, we were on DX12, a lot of stutter for compiling shaders. We mentioned this multiple times in our Real Engine 4 games, so this is not new. But I didn't know that there was a DX11 executable, so here we are. Hi guys, welcome back. So to put it on DX11, let's go step by step. You gotta go to your settings in the Epic Games Store, scroll down a little bit, and you'll find Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Just make sure in the additional command line arguments that it says DX11, like this. Hey, Turkian, Jesper Valentin, Necro Death, good name, Shahin Roshani, Dark Master, Brian Cáceres. So make sure that it is like this for DX11 and you should be good to go. Then, the mod for no dynamic resolution, it's linked in the description. It's a 6 kilobyte file, I think. Very simple to download and very easy to install. You just go to the games folder and content packs, and it will be this small file, that no dynamic res pack, and that's about it. Launch the game, you have no dynamic resolution and DX11 in that way. So pretty easy to do. Let's put this on medium, 1080p low first on the 1050 Ti, and then we are going to try different things. So yeah. Hey, ja, my name is Jeffy. Welcome guys. So okay, those are the steps to do DX11 and no dynamic resolution. And we're going to do two things, the slums and the city with a lot of fighting. So let's go. No dynamic resolution plus DX11. Yo guys, how's it going? So as you can see here in system, options and graphics, again, silver bones, not even full screen is here, so low textures, low shadow resolution, and frame rate doesn't matter. In this case, there's no dynamic resolution, so should be okay. So we're in the slums. This is the first time I launched the game on this GPU, so I deleted the drivers and reinstalled them for the shaders to compile. And this is on 1080p low. And as you can see, there is stutter in the slums because it's compiling shaders. And Real Engine 4 games have many issues regarding shader compilation, so this is no news for people like us, budget gamers, which is unfortunate. Also, one thing that you lose with DX11 is the forced VSync, so you should force it with the NVIDIA control panel, so keep that in mind. There is a no TAA mod available too. No, I'd rather keep TAA in this case. It looks okay in this game. I mean, the game looks soft in general, but I think TAA in this case is beneficial. So as you can see now, Cloud is super sharp in comparison to when we were doing dynamic resolution. So yeah, we're on native 1080p, I think. Let me double check just in case. Yeah, low 1080p, no dynamic resolution. Is this 8 GB of RAM? No, but we're below 8 GB right now. So the slums, the issue with slums is that the stutter, it also happens on the consoles. Well, not the stutter, the textures in this level are more demanding. There's more textures, more VRAM usage. So yeah, but on the GPU side it's not super demanding. I mean, it's very simple map in comparison. There's not a lot of effects on screen, there is not a lot going on in comparison to the city level, fighting many enemies at once. So yeah, the only thing missing for me, apart from more options, is exclusive full screen. That would be nice. And, well, give us dynamic resolution off toggle without using a mod. That would be nice as well. Anyway, let's go into the city now. So, let's go into a fight. So that was the slums. As you could see, when I was moving around, it was stuttering, loading shaders for the first time. And due to the amount of characters, well, it liked compiling more shaders. So here we're in the city now. That mod can work good to test GPUs. Yeah, I agree. So here we're in the city. As you can see, it's more demanding than the slums in the way of the GPU load. The VRAM usage in the city seems to be lower. But as you can see, this is the first time I visit this city in this GPU. The first launch after deleting the drivers. And the frame time spikes for compiling shaders are minimal in comparison to the DX12. On the DX12 I had huge spikes. There's still some spikes, but nothing in comparison to the DX12. It's completely fine now, as you can see. Also, the VRAM usage appears to be a little bit lower. So yeah, okay, here we got the stutter again, the shader compilation stutter. Again, nothing new for us, people that play Unreal Engine 4 games. There's a lot of games that suffer huge stutters. This is not the first one. So yeah. Anyway, to fix tearing in the DX11, yeah, just go into the NVIDIA control panel and force desync on. That's about it, that's all you need to do. So yeah, as you can see on low settings, we're getting basically 40 to 60 frames, depending on where you are. But it's still pretty good, considering the resolution. We're doing stable 1080p. But, I mean, low settings means, okay, I lowered the... I lowered the shadow resolution, that's about it. There's no more than that. Okay, so let me show you super quick. I gotta reload my save. Because the game doesn't allow me to change settings while fighting. That's kinda weird. After loading the game, open the console command, read... Oh, okay. Maybe later. Streaming limit pool size to VRAM to 1. Okay. Although at the moment, it's fine. Alright, so... Hopefully they do not see me because I want to change settings. So I'm going to show you the only thing that you can change is shadows. And that's about it. So I'm going to record a few seconds of footage to show you a side by side. So we got 49, 50 frames right here with shadows on low. But that's about it. For better performance, that's as far as it can go. At least right now. You can also crank up those textures, but it uses so much VRAM that... Yeah, I'll keep it on low in that side. So now we got shadows on high. And I'm going to record a few seconds of footage once again. Okay, Kamirock, thanks for the heads up, but we're not focusing on that right now. We're only focusing on the DX11. We might take a look at that later, but right now, we're not focusing on that. Thanks anyway, I appreciate it. Okay, so one sec. I'm going to show you the comparison. You guys should be able to see it now. There we are. So, at the left we got low shadows, and at the right, sorry, at the right we got low shadows, and at the left we got high shadows. Honestly, yeah, the resolution is lower, the shadows look softer on low, but I mean, I kind of dig low shadows. They look blurrier, but I don't know. I kind of dig low shadows on this one. Yeah, they still do not have shadows into the distance. But I mean, at this point I would say personal preference is your friend, because it's 3 FPS more. I mean, why waste your time? Just use the one that you like the most. Personally, I don't know, I kinda dig low shadows on this one. Do you recommend motion blur off? I haven't tried it, but motion blur in this game is very aggressive, yeah. So if you don't like motion blur, you can disable it, yeah, with commands. So yeah, let's put shadows on high just because we can do so. Then textures, you can keep them on low. I'll try them on high and see if I can wreak havoc. So yeah, let's play on high, why not? Let's be ridiculous for a few moments. So 1080p high. And let's just fight in this area. And then we are going to the slums once again. What I'm noticing with high textures already, more stutter. The VRAM is already maxed out, that's why. But on DX11 it's usually more forgiving when you go over the VRAM limit, so...
Nothing to it.
Yeah. You're happy you got 4K 60 and it looks great? Good to know, man. What GPU do you have? Can we use RTSS instead of a video control panel? Okay, yeah. Do not use high textures. I mean, RTSS, you can use it for locking the frame rate, which is pretty useful. But VSync on, use it from the video control panel. It's way easier.
Let's do this. Enough.
Yeah, that stutter is insane. But this is because I'm over the VRAM limit. Let me lower those textures again. I mean, I was at 6 GB of RAM, and now I'm at 10 GB. So definitely my advice, low shadows, low textures for 4 GB GPUs. Just make sure that you do that, and you should be okay. I mean, as you can see, it's compensating the lack of VRAM with system RAM, and well, it's slower. So low textures for the win. Yeah, look at that difference. I'm already using less system RAM, less VRAM. Yeah, don't bother on 4 GB GPUs with high textures. Not worth it. You're going to have a bad time. No in-game updates yet, no, and I wouldn't hold my breath for updates. Square Enix doesn't update games often. I mean, I remember Nier Automata took like 3-4 years to get an update for Borderless full screen. So low textures. And keep shadows on high, it's barely an inconvenience for the GPU, so yeah. Let's go. And as you can see now, the RAM is again at 7 GB instead of 10. The VRAM is below 4 GB. Frame times are more consistent. So yeah, personally, what I would recommend is that you guys, if you don't like the dynamic resolution, disable it with the mod like I did for this video. And if you want 60 frames, my advice, keep dynamic resolution on 1080p, shadows high, textures on low, maybe disable motion blur with the mod as well. And then, I'm missing something. And DX11 for more stability, and that's about it. They updated Guardians of the Galaxy, well, depends on the developer, I guess. But for Nier Automata, it took like 4 years. I don't know if that was a publisher thing or a developer thing. But Japanese games sometimes are not great with patches on PC. Depends on the developer and publisher, of course. But the Guardians of the Galaxy, yeah, it's not Japanese, as far as I know. What team was behind the remake? I do not know. I forgot the name. I hope modders will take good care of this game. I mean, that's good and all, but I'd rather the developers take care of this game, not the modders. Modders shouldn't be fixing the game for them. Especially that they are now charging $70 for it. That's ridiculous. Although I do like the implementation of dynamic resolution when you're using it.
You're mine.
Let's heal. Nier was more like, we don't care, bro, until Microsoft put it on Gamepad. Okay, makes sense. Unfortunately. Okay, gone, reduced to atoms. So, okay, this part, as you can see with heavy combat, it's okay. You can stay over 30 frames. 60s will require a lower resolution, but that's fine. Have you felt micro stutter? Yeah, but nowhere close to what DX12 was. DX12, in comparison, was terrible. On here, it's not that bad. On DX11, it's more akin to what Unreal Engine 4 games have been on the way of stutter, in my experience. But again, I explained it in previous videos. On many Unreal Engine 4 games, I get stutter the first time I launch it, and it's loading new assets, which I hated since the very beginning, but I don't know, people are just noticing on this one because it's a high-profile game, I guess. But it's been an issue for a while, and nobody paid attention. So yeah. So now we're in the slums. This part is more video memory intensive, uses more VRAM. And the stutter is more noticeable the first time around because it's compiling the shaders. Again, like I said before, with Unreal Engine 4 games. And more characters on screen. So here the draw distance of the characters will have an effect. We are on 10 characters displayed. On PS5, according to Digital Foundry, they said it's 7 characters, and on PS4 it's 0 characters, so there's a lot of pop-in for people on the streets. But since we're not fighting here with many characters, I don't think it's an issue. Just keep it on 10. DX11 is also a mod as well. No, it's only a command argument that you can use on the Epic Games Store. Just put the command argument on the back, and it's already built into the game, so I'm not sure why they didn't give us an option for a DX11 executable. Because you can actually launch it on DX11, no mods required. You just need to add a command argument for the launch, and you're good. So as you can see here, it's less demanding in this part because there's less detail. There's only 2 enemies, there's less effects on screen. So yeah. I hope Unreal Engine 5 doesn't have micro stutter. Well, for the demo I tried of The Matrix, performance wasn't great, on the cutscenes especially. So hopefully they are, but it's more of a PC issue for me. On consoles it's less noticeable, especially in this game. In this game, consoles are butter smooth in comparison. So yeah, in the slums you get better performance when fighting outside. The thing is, if we fight inside the slums, well, we might have more performance issues, but overall, the lowest I saw dropping on 1080p was 30 frames per second. So let's do a lower resolution, let's do 900p. Hola, Ichiritik Gupta, sé que no hablas español. I know you don't speak Spanish, man. There are some fights that it's a particle slugfest. Yeah, that's when it drops performance. That's why here we're not dropping many frames. So let's do 900p now. So this should give us 60 frames, I'm guessing. We'll see. Maybe 720p gives us locked 60s. Although in this card, I would personally use dynamic resolution, because it gives you more consistent frame rates without losing quality. Without having to tweak anything. So in this case, dynamic resolution would be a good thing. So 900p, low textures, high shadows. Again, low shadows gives us 2 frames more. Oh, okay. In this part, it doesn't, actually. In this part, it gives us 10 frames more. Interesting. Okay, we're keeping shadows on high, and then we're lowering them. Although, yeah, I'm tempted to go for low first. We're doing that. So 900p low. Let's see if we can do 60 frames on 900p. So let me reload my save file on Fateful Encounters. Hey, Syed Ali. I'm sorry to change topic, but is Remnant from the Ashes worth playing? Hell yeah, it's a lot of fun. Highly recommended. I just thought it was kind of a universal word to get grit. Anyways, yes, it is. Okay, so 900p low, no dynamic resolution, so consistent 900p on the DX11. So let's see if we can stay at 60 frames even when effects show up. Let's put some fire on the screen. Okay. I'd say 900p is the sweet spot so far. For this CPU, yeah. Final Fantasy 15 Sport has been far worse stuttering. Yeah, I remember. But they say that on the Game Pass version it has no stutter, which is is very surprising. Hopefully they update the Steam version as well. Particle effects are pretty good looking, I agree. Although I wish there was blood. I'm not seeing any blood in this game. That's kinda disappointing. I wish there was a mod for that.
Let's do this. Burn. Enough.
Yeah, I would say on 900p low is the way to go. If you don't want dynamic resolution, that is. Prey free on Epic Games Store on the 25th. Great, I'll be playing Prey on Christmas then. Nice. I love that game. So underrated. That makes my hopes for this game improve decrease. What do you mean? My hopes of this game improving decrease. Oh, I see. Yeah, I mean, Square Enix needs to put an exclusive full screen option, a dynamic resolution toggle so we can turn it on or off at will without using mods, then a VSync option, and the usual options we get in Unreal Engine 4 games, like motion blur on or off. I don't know, more options, that would be nice. But performance is not bad so far. And the stutters, well, just give us a loading screen before starting the game for the first time, compiling shaders, and that should solve it. We're not asking for much, many games have those features. And this being one of the first $70 games, I'll be even more expecting of a better experience on the PC port. Are we going to play FNAF Security Breach? I want to. Never played Five Nights at Freddy before, so I might. Yeah, 900p is the way to go on this card.
That's that.
And again, low shadows. It's a lower resolution of the shadows, nothing major in my opinion. So yeah, is this game already good optimized for PC? It depends what you mean by good optimized. I mean, it runs well on the 1050 Ti, there's still the shader compilation stutter. But without dynamic resolution, you can actually still play the game a consistent 60 frames. Yes, expect some extra stutter. On the DX11 it stutters way less than the DX12. On the DX12 it was a nightmare in comparison to this, so... Yeah, even looking into the distance I'm getting 60s. Let's see in this sequence that there will be a lot of fire on screen. It runs well, but there is stutter, not any graphical options. Exactly. Although, again, this is not the first Unreal Engine 4 game to have that issue. There are so many Unreal Engine 4 games with that issue and nobody cares. And by nobody cares, I mean nobody talks about it. So yeah, I'm glad that this issue is coming into the public, but this has been an issue on Unreal Engine 4 games for a while. I'm guessing since this is a very high profile game, it's more noticeable. But I've been talking about this forever and nobody talked about it. So yeah. So as you could see there, it dropped to 52 frames when looking directly at the fire, but that's about it.
Nothing to it.
Anyway, let's go back to the slums. Yeah, 30 to 40 FPS are usually fine for third-person games. Yeah, it's all about your preferences. So yeah.
The planet's a living being.
So the slums, the thing with this uses more VRAM. And it has more characters on screen. The only thing that is over the minimum is the character amount. We're on 10 characters, so full draw distance for characters. Since we're not fighting inside this area, right now at least, I just cranked it up to the max, but as you can see there are some frame time spikes, and the first time you launch the game is even worse, because it's loading those shaders for the first time. Happens on many Unreal Engine 4 games. Hopefully they can smooth that out by doing shading compilation before launching the game, that would be nice. So yeah. ¿Para qué sirve el código Epic? Y me daría un poco de lo que gastaste en tu compra.
I can see why Monster would feel right at home.
para dar soporte al canal, para soportar el canal. Eso en español suena horrible. Así que sí, sería como una pequeña ayuda, como un link de afiliado. This anime style graphics always look so good. In this case, yeah, this game looks great, in my opinion. Despite being on low settings. But I wish there were more options.
It's on you.
Come on, Tifa, you can do this. There we go. And some more effects on screen. But again, this part is not effect heavy. So yeah. Anyway, 900p low will be my best settings for this card. You get 60 frames. You get stutters because shader compilation. So yeah, this game is preset with DX12. Yeah, I mean, we're forcing DX11 on this one. It improves performance quite a bit, at least for us. And the VRAM spikes, the VRAM usage appears to be low as well, lower than DX12. So my best settings will be this, 10 characters displayed, because when there are many characters, we're not usually fighting, we're just walking around. Frame rate, this is just a frame rate cap. If you're using the mod for no dynamic resolution, this just caps your frame rate. Shadow resolution, I recommend low. High looks better, of course. Better shadows. The resolution of the shadows is improved. And now we seem to be over the VRAM limit. Let it load those shaders, come on. So, in my opinion, not worth keeping them on high, at least not on 900p when targeting 60. Not sure why now it's locked to 20. Things that happen, I guess I have to restart the game. So yeah, my advice again. Low shadows, so it uses less VRAM, low textures, so it uses less VRAM. And that's about it. Characters displayed is distance. Yeah, no number of characters. Yeah, I wasn't talking about the amount of characters. So yeah, characters displayed is on 10, but it's the draw distance of the characters. Exactly. Thanks for the correction. So, like this for 60 frames. If you want to do 720, you're over 60, and if I crank up those shadows, I gotta restart the game. So let me do that super quick. So I get out of the game. Again, if you guys want DX11, just go into the settings in the Epic Games Store, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, and add this command argument. And you should be good. You should be on DX11. Way better than DX12. In this game, I do not recommend DX12 at all. So just do that and you're good to go. And for the dynamic resolution, you can disable it by following the link in the description. There's a small file that you need to replace somewhere, and you're good to go. I don't think I'm doing 720. Let's do the 1650 Super right away. Let's do our job. So time to swap to the 1650 Super. We're back here. 1 second. So 1050 Ti out. 1650 Super in. Alright. Does this mod disable VSync too? Yeah, but you can enable VSync with NVIDIA control panel, and if you have a G-Sync or FreeSync display, if you lock the frame rate to your FreeSync range, should work just fine. What's the DX11? Google it, man. Open google.com, type DX11, spacebar, definition, and it's all there. Don't worry. It's a different API. You can also look up API. DX11 does not work with HDR on this game. Okay, gotcha. So if you're doing HDR, do DX12. Thanks for the heads up. Alright, 1650 Super. Let me launch all my stuffs. Okay. So again, we're doing DX11. Stutters less, uses less VRAM. Disables VSync, but you can do it with NVIDIA control panel. So keep that in mind. So 1080p. Let's put low textures plus high shadows, and let's see what happens. DX11 is DX12 before. Yeah, good one. That's fine. So again, DX11 is not a mod. The only mod I'm using is the dynamic resolution disabler. That's all I needed. Yeah, God of War in 3 weeks. Excited. It will be fun. Una pregunta, ¿cómo sé que está activa el Dual Channel? Asegúrate que las RAM, tenés más de una RAM y que estén en los zócalos correctos. Ok, 1080p, low textures, characters display on 10, SDR because HDR is broken on DX11, which is fine. I don't have an HDR display personally, so not an issue for me. So again, 1080p, low textures, high shadows, 10 characters displayed, which again is the draw distance. And let's do the slump first, because it's the first time I launched the game on this GPU after deleting the drivers, which also removes the shaders. And should be a stutter fest in this part. Let's see. We start running around.
Are you serious?
Let's see. Stutter, show up. There we go. 1.
They were saying there's parts of
Those bikes are... You were right.
Okay, yeah, the stutters, I can see them, although in comparison to those DX12 stutters, there's no comparison.
all the items you could want.
Yeah, just keep it on DX11. Do yourself a favor. If you want to avoid stuttering, yeah, it's way better than on DX12. On DX12, it was a nightmare in comparison to this. It's still not perfect, but it's significantly better
Searching for candidates.
on DX11. At least for me. How to fix screen tearing? Try NVIDIA ViewSync, Rev a tuner FPS cap, and in-game FPS are correct. Okay, so you shouldn't have any screen tearing.
I can see why monsters would feel right at home.
My ViewSync is not enabled though.
The more they show up.
I'm trying to see how many FPS.
And there's
Okay,
our
let's
first
do
challenger.
attacks. Okay, screwed.
No holding back.
Okay, with effects on screen, it also stutters. First time it shows the effect, so more shaded compilation.
That's that.
Man, they need to fix that. I don't know if it's an Unreal Engine issue or a developer issue, but it's too noticeable.
So that's what a soldier looks like in action.
90 FPS, try high textures. No, man. Look at that VRAM. Do you seriously want me to enable high textures? Why? Why bother? Don't bother. Trust me, it's not worth it. I mean, high textures look great, but with 4 gigs of VRAM, you gotta sacrifice the textures. Okay, so we're now on 1080p, in a more demanding place for the GPU load. And as you can see, 1080p on high, with low textures, it's fine. I wish textures only meant lower frame rates, but unfortunately, when you have low VRAM, it's not a thing to do with frame rates, it's gotta do with memory capacity. If you go over the VRAM limit, you're going to run into more stutter. You missed the 1050 Ti, you can rewind the livestream, but it was fine. 900p low, basically over 60, some drops into the 50s when there was a lot of effects on screen, but nothing major. The game still runs pretty well, considering the hardware I'm using, although the stutter is still happening, which was to be expected. Although it's way better on the stutter side than on DX12. On DX12, it was way worse. Can I run this game on an i5 9400F and an RX 6600 XT? Yeah, of course, man. You should be able to do 1440p even. Why can't we use medium textures? Because it doesn't exist. There's only high textures or low. That bothers me so much. An in-between would be appreciated. But that doesn't exist, yeah. If there was a medium setting for textures, I would be super happy, but that's not the case.
Here we go.
Con unas 570 de 8 GB no habría problema en usar texturas en alto. Deberías estar bien con unas 570 de 8 GB. For the people asking about the 580, 570, 470, 480, 8GB versions, on the 8GB cards, you can do high textures just fine. Although you might go into the VRAM limits, but you can actually handle those high textures way better than a 4GB GPU, without a doubt. He's gone. Reduced to atoms. So yeah, on the 1650 Super, 1080p is fine. As long as you keep textures on low, shouldn't be an issue. Let's try 1440p, very quickly. Oh, although for that I need to restart the game, unfortunately. Because it's borderless full screen. And then we're doing also 4K, just for the sake of it. I wish there was a chip to upgrade VRAM. Don't we all? Don't we all? Yeah, Nvidia usually limits us with VRAM. I mean, remember the 1063GB? That was the biggest scam, because now so many games run poorly due to the 3 gigs of VRAM. So yeah, they usually bottleneck you with VRAM limitations on the Nvidia cards. It's like buying a 3060 Ti. It's 8GB, yeah, all nice, faster than a 3060, but the 3060 had 12GB of VRAM, so in that case I would take the 3060, just for the VRAM alone. Can you use high texture with 6 gigs of VRAM? Should be possible. Although if you're starting to get a lot of stutter, more than usual, I'll lower those to low. But again, an in-between would be welcome. Even a 3050 is rumored to have 4GB. Oh well. What can you do? I forgot to disable vibration. It's kind of annoying. One sec. Where is it? Vibration off. Alright. 1440p now. So 1440p, low textures, high shadows. I might need to lower those shadows, by the way. So yeah, let's go. We're going directly into the slums, just to see how the VRAM behaves. Yeah, I agree. Nvidia uses low VRAM to make you buy newer graphics cards in the future.
Are you serious? What? You think it's all a hoax or
Okay, low textures, high shadows appears to be okay. The frame times are worse. The spikes are more noticeable
They were saying there's
than on 1080p, probably because at 1440p uses more VRAM. But one thing that I noticed on low textures, look at this wall. This texture is terrible. On low. On high is not great, but on low is dreadful. I mean, it's like a Roblox texture. And I can see more stutter, again, VRAM limitation. So yeah. What's the name of VRAM on MSI Afterburner? It's called MEM, for the memory, the video memory. I changed the name to VRAM to make it more understandable. So yeah, I just called it VRAM. VRAM, and it's called MEM, and memory clock is also called MEM. So yeah. Anyway. Let's see if I can improve performance by lowering those shadows. That's the only option we have, so... Okay, 45... Okay, we get a 13 FPS boost in this level. Interesting. So yeah, let's go into the city now. The bigger city, better said. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, in comparison to DX12, it's still a major leap. But still. We are VRAM limited here. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll just keep shadows on low. Let's see if we can get 60s on this one. I don't think so, but still. Okay. Low textures, low shadows. It also helps us, the low shadows, to use less VRAM. So for 1440p should make it smoother in general. So let's see with heavy effects.
It's over.
Okay, mid 50s right now. Let's put some fire into the mix. What do you think about God of War PC port optimization? I don't know. Once I play it, I will know. Right now,
That it?
we never saw that engine on PC before. The engine behind God of War. So we'll see. It might be a great port, might run terrible, might run great, who knows. I'm guessing the latter. It's probably going to be great. I'm guessing. But no way to know until release, so... Again, I have a... My instincts tell me that it will be fine. But who knows. Maybe I have too high expectations. Yeah, avoiding VRAM limitation is worth it. There is way less stutter. When effects show up, it stays where it has to be. So yeah. What do you think about Stalker 2 disc requirement? I don't know how much space it requires. But I mean, nowadays I'm not surprised considering the size of Warzone. It doesn't fit on a 256GB SSD if you have Windows installed, so good luck. The God of War recommended and minimum specs are pretty close to each other. In my opinion, it won't be a huge visual upgrade. It still looks amazing though. The improvements that they put into the trailer were like the shadow resolution, the screen space reflections resolution. So yeah. I mean, when they usually show those things, it means that they put some effort into it. But who knows? We'll see. Okay, I'm getting my ass kicked. One sec. Really? Fire. The game is fine. I have the PS5 version. It chucks FPS like crazy. I don't know if I believe you. Where does it chug FPS exactly? I want to go to that area. GPU price is going down. Ha! Hilarious. I wish I knew. Anyway, so 1440p, you can do it if you want to. The option is there. Let's try this again, but at 4K now, because we did it in the previous live stream. So, 4K. 4K! But if you want to do 60 frames, you can either do 1080p with high shadows or 1440p with everything on low. I do not recommend cranking up shadows because it uses more VRAM. So keep that in mind. 4K, let's see. Okay, 30 frames, it seems. Let's lower the character draw distance for the slums. Let's put it on PS4 levels. And there we go. So 4K, lowest settings. I remember the VRAM being a huge limitation, and man, it looks so sharp now. That sword looks so sharp, Jesus Christ. Yeah, at 4K, it looks amazing. Holy hell. I mean, look at this. If I zoom in... Oh, I screwed up. I can see his face properly. And look at the definition in the sword. And I'm zooming in quite a bit, actually. Insane. But let's see if you can maintain 30. I'm guessing probably not. Let's do it again. Okay, so when I tried this with dynamic resolution on DX12, I get a lot of performance issues. It dropped below 20, I think. Yeah, like this. Exactly like this. So yeah, 4K we are... Apart from VRAM limited, the GPU power required for this is quite high. So let's do 1800p. And let's see what happens. Okay, 1800p it is. So 3200 by 1800. This is the ideal resolution if you want to be close to 4K visually. So like I said before, this is my recommendation if you want 30 frames on this card. 1800p, everything on low, and you're good.
Let's go.
Looks super sharp. It's not a 4K image, but it's very close. I mean, come on. It's so many pixels. But you're probably going to get worse frame times because it uses more VRAM. So yeah, keep that in mind. At least I know that your 2080 Super can run this at 4K 60. Yeah, it should be easily getting 4K 60. Hi, is this game on Game Pass? No, but you got Final Fantasy 15, I think. It's on Game Pass. 2080 Super, watch the VRAM though. Yeah, agreed. Be careful.
No holding back. That's that.
Oh, no targets. Okay, let's go to the slums. Moment of truth. Let's see how the VRAM goes with the slums. So I go to my save file, slums. And let's see what happens. Days Gone was better than Horizon Zero Dawn, but it also had its issues. Yeah, but it was Unreal Engine 4. Horizon is a completely different engine.
We should be learning more about it. Are you serious? What?
Okay,
It's all a hoax or something?
let's run around. Moment for the characters to pop in.
Our daughter does.
There we go. The usual stutter in this area.
You were right, boss. It was those avalanche tails.
But it seems to hold 30 frames, despite the high resolution.
Then you'll love some creepy. All the items you could want.
So yeah. Nice. Yeah, definitely DX11 saved this game for me. At least right now.
Candidates.
And the dynamic resolution disabler is also welcome. Alright.
Scrap Boulevard.
I can see why monsters would feel right at home.
Yeah, and this part is not demanding at all in comparison to the fight in the city.
And there's our first challenger. Show me what you
This
got,
won't take
Cloud.
long. Keep it together.
I got this. Gotcha. There.
Yeah, it's fine. So, if you want 30 frames, 1800p, low textures, low shadows, no dynamic resolution, DX11.
This was
If you want 60s, 1080p, high shadows, low textures. And if you want 1440p, 50 to 70 frames, everything on low, but 1440p. So pretty good, pretty impressed on with the DX11 patch, with the DX11 option. I don't know why this wasn't offered as an option in the menu, but there we go. Let's go back to 1080. And time for the 570. I'm going to crank up everything. There we go. And let's go back. Time to delete drivers. Although the thing I was saying about Horizon Zero Dawn, that is actually pretty funny, is that Death Stranding runs on the same engine and it runs amazing on the PC. So I wish they took a hint from Kojima. Kojima usually does a good job. At least starting from Metal Gear Solid 5, they were pretty good games running on the PC. This game is on the Epic Store. Yeah, it's an Epic exclusive, unfortunately. Again, thanks to Square Enix for providing a code of the game, but $70 for this game, being an Epic exclusive and having these few options, wait for a sale. Yeah, just wait for it to come to Steam. I'm guessing in around a year it's going to come to Steam. After that, we're probably going to get patches that add the options that we wanted from the get-go, and it's probably going to be cheaper, so yeah, just wait. Be patient. ¿Cómo se pone en DirectX 11? Añadís un comando al juego que es -DX11 cuando vas a lanzar el juego y listo. Corre en DirectX 11. Death Stranding stutters a bit in the base areas, but overall much better. Well, I mean, in Death Stranding I cannot really complain, because in those areas you're not fighting, I think. As far as I remember. I haven't played much. Yeah, just that. Just add the command DX11 and boom. It's not a mod, it's just a command argument. So it exists in the game. Why didn't they give us the option? What the hell, Square Enix? Okay, time for the 570. One sec, gotta change that. So 1650 Super out. Need 570 in. And let's go. I use 4K 60 without the mod though. What do you mean? I mean, dynamic resolution, if you have enough GPU power, it will be native resolution anyway. Do you run that program in safe mode? Sometimes. In the live streams I don't, because it will take forever. Yeah, you can try the real performance, it's pretty easy. Just drop a file in one of those in-game folders and you're good to go. It's not even replacing files, it's just a separate file that you can delete later if you don't want to use dynamic resolution. If you want to use dynamic resolution again. So you're not modifying anything, you're just dropping a file and it stays there. So yeah, we're back into the computer now, installing the 570's drivers. One sec. We're going to start with 1080p, low textures, high shadows. So high shadows, low textures, DX11, and I think I'm missing something. Hang on. Oh yeah. I mean, the mod is literally this file. It's not even replacing another file. It's a separate file that the game doesn't have. So you paste that mod here in this folder and you're good to go. It works. No dynamic resolution. You cannot even edit config files for this one. Why low textures? Because VRAM. We only have 4 gigs. If you have 4 gigs, don't even bother with high textures. You're going to have a bad time. ¿Hay mucha diferencia entre alto y bajo? La verdad que no, bastante... O sea, las sombras son peores, pero igual se ven bien. Las texturas son bastante peores en algunas zonas, pero el juego todavía se ve bien, en mi opinión. Some people are asking between low and high if there's a huge difference. On the shadows it's not bad, honestly. Low shadows still looks good, in my opinion. The resolution is lower, yeah, but it still does the job. Then low textures, on the other hand, is, yeah, you lose a lot of texture quality, especially in smaller areas. In the slums, there's a lot of low quality textures on low, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, the game still looks good in my opinion, but it needs more options, more in-betweens. You have never played any Final Fantasy series though? Though curious? Yeah, Cloud is in this game, yeah. It is. Okay, so I'm going to now change a couple things only for my capture card, nothing to do with performance. I enable GPU scaling and full RGB. That gives me correct colors in my capture card. So performance, nothing to do with performance. It's only colors. And let's see if there's any new drivers. So, okay, nothing new on the driver side. Nice. So, hang on. Let's launch the game, shall we? First time for live? Well, welcome, Modern Gamer. Happy to see you. I know you're watching me when I'm offline. I remember you. How? I don't know. Will you test the Intel GPU and RTX 3050 when it comes out? If they ever come out, and they are available in my country, sure, why not? Would be nice. Something new, finally. Anyway. So again, to have DX11 on this game, you need to add a command line. Oh, hang on, I gotta re-enter my credentials for the Epic Games Store. One sec. I don't wanna get doxxed. Freaking garbage, Epic Games Store. I gotta log in each time. Why do you do this to me? You know how much I sacrificed? How to turn off dynamic resolution though? Link in the description. Pretty easy to do. Come on, Epic Games Store, you got this. Come on, launch. Please. Hang on. Let's retry. Here we go. Enable image sharpening is amazing. Yeah, it depends on the game, really. Okay, I think it works now. Okay, we're back. Good. So, in order to put DX11, you gotta go to your settings, and if you scroll down, you're going to find this. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate, and you gotta check this box. So you add a command line argument, and you just need to put this. And you're good to go. That's how you enable DX11. Then for the dynamic resolution, to turn it off, just download the mod I left in the description and paste it in your Final Fantasy VII Remake folder in End Content Packs. Whoa. And there you go. It's this small file. You just paste it here and you're good. You get rid of dynamic resolution. And if you want to enable dynamic resolution again, just delete this file and you're good to go. But I think the biggest upgrade is DX11. DX11, it's included with the game, it's not a mod. It works much better. Less stutter. Stutter still exists, but it's less noticeable. And it also seems to use less VRAM on DX11 for some reason, which is welcome. We have only 4 gigs, so yeah. Try GT1030, we're doing it later. We have I will do separate videos for the 2GB GPUs. But I'm guessing it's not going to change much. DX11 should make it more consistent, especially on those 2GB cards, but performance should be pretty similar overall. Come on, open the game, Jesus Christ. Cloud syncing. The cloud syncing takes forever. Come on, man. Launch the game for me, please. Thanks to Kina, it was made for PC as well in the same quality with next-gen consoles. Yeah, Kina is a great game. One of my favorites this year. Okay, so again, settings, 1080p, low textures because 4 gigs of VRAM, high shadows, frame rate unlocked, doesn't matter, 10 characters, which means draw distance of the characters is improved. On DX11, HDR doesn't work, so we don't have an HDR display anyway, so not a big issue for us. So let's go back to the slum. Let's see the stutters. This is the area that has the most stutter, I would say. And let me enable the FPS counter before I forget. So again, the usual Unreal Engine 4 issue, stutters the first time it's loading the assets.
Are you serious? What? You think it's all
Come on, FPS counter, I need you. Right now. There we go. So, 1080p, low textures, high shadows. Let's move the camera. Okay, this is not bad, actually.
Never know.
Let's see. Okay, now it's getting a little bit worse.
You were right, boss.
Okay, yeah, the usual. Although, in comparison to the DX12 stutter,
Which is better?
I can accept this. In comparison to how it was before, yeah. No doubt about it. DX11 is the way to go on this one.
All the items you could want.
What's your oldest card that still works right now? 750 Ti.
Was gonna jump
is like 7 to 8 years old now.
Searching for candidates.
Is that who Wedge mentioned?
Searching for candidates.
Yeah,
The watch is here to keep.
it's much better now. Cuando activo DX11 se desactiva el VSync. ¿Cómo lo activo? En el panel de control de Nvidia. Guys, if you want to have VSync, you gotta open your Nvidia or AMD control panel and enable VSync manually. In this case, I think I can use fast sync actually. Let me try that.
Hi, kitty. Wanna be my friend?
So on graphics, I'll put enhanced sync. Although I'll use VSync personally, but this is just for you guys to not see the tearing. It's easier for us. So I don't know if it works right away, but oh yeah, there we go.
Might be a good idea to stock up on food.
That helped us. Good stuff.
Gonna have to save up for it.
Yeah, so at least you guys do not see the tearing. So as I was saying, 1080p, low shadows, low textures, high shadows. It's into the 40s when running here, or into the 30s.
People are counting.
So yeah, there is stutter in this area in particular, but as many Unreal Engine 4 games do, after a few playthroughs, I guess, it stutters less. You gotta load those shaders. You have a question, does turning off VSync improve performance? It should unlock the frame rate first of all, and it will remove tearing, but I recommend you look it up on Google on how it works. It gets you more input lag. That's what I don't like about VSync. But still, performance shouldn't be affected. You should just be locked to the refresh rate of your monitor, basically. Okay, let's do the fight. Ya puse en Nvidia porque es un título Unreal Engine. Some people are asking about which is better in this game, AMD or Nvidia, and I would say Nvidia.
Not bad.
But it's kind of the usual. Unreal Engine 4 games tend to run better on Nvidia GPUs. It's not a rule. It's not a rule. It's kind of the usual, but sometimes it's the other way around. So it depends on the game. A big example of this is Borderlands 3. That's an Unreal Engine 4 game that runs better on AMD, at least in my experience.
That's that.
But in general, Unreal Engine 4 stuff runs better on Nvidia. From what I played so far.
That's that.
I don't know, Mark. Haven't met her yet. The heck, Mark? What is wrong with you, man? DX11 or 12? In this case, DX11 is recommended. Unless you have an HDR display.
Enough. Burn.
Burn! Nah, Halo Infinite is a lot worse on AMD GPUs. Yeah, no. This is nothing in comparison to what Halo Infinite does on AMD. Yeah, no. Keep that comparison out of the way. This is completely playable on AMD GPUs. Let's try low shadows. Let's see if that gives us 60 more often. So now we're going for low shadows. Then we're cranking up those pixels, more texture, more resolution. But let's see if we can get 60s on 1080p. So we reload the Fateful Encounters. ¿Qué dice Aruberuto Kun? ¿Todo bien? Okay, let's go. Low shadows. Okay. Low shadows saves the day once again. So guys, lower those shadows and boom, you get 60s. I can already see that it runs way better than the 1050 Ti. The 1050 Ti to get these numbers required 900p, so yeah, you can see the improvement. Still, the 1650 Super is miles ahead on performance in this game. That's why I'm saying it runs better on Nvidia. Usually the 570 is behind the 1650 Super, but not by this amount. So yeah, keep that in mind. How do you set the game to DX11? You gotta do it with command line, with launch arguments on the Epic Game Store. I showed that at the beginning of the video and before launching the game, so you should find it by rewinding the live stream. Pretty easy to do. Just go into your Epic Store settings, command arguments, and add the DX11 command. Hang on. You just need to put hyphen and then DX11 and you're good. It works. It's not a mod. DX11 is actually a part of the game. I'm not sure why it's not an option that you can choose manually. You gotta force it. Same happened with GTA Trilogy Remastered. Not sure why. So yeah, just stay away from DX12 on this one unless you have an HDR display. And you should be good. Have you already done 1650 Super? Yeah, just rewind the live stream and you'll find it. I freaking hate this. Shock troopers.
Calling fire. Let's finish this.
Come on. Come with me, bro. No worries, man. Enjoy. Forcing DX12 for no reason. I thought DX12 was the only option, but after seeing that you can actually do it, in this case it's a way better experience. Stutter is still there, but it's less noticeable. Let's try the limit. Cross slash. Let's see. Frame rate. Yeah, it dropped into the mid-50s, but we were not controlling the game at that point. So it's fine. Just put textures on low and you're good to go. Textures on low, and shadows on low. So let's try the slums super quick. Where's the blood? I'm asking the same thing. So the console versions play on DX11 or 12? None of them. They have a proprietary API on PlayStation.
If the planet's a living being, we should
Okay,
learn
here we are again in the
Are
slums.
you serious?
More stutter noticeable in here. More VRAM to fill.
You can't hide forever after
Those bikes are
So yeah, as you can see, this area is more notable for the frames and spikes. Especially the first time you visit the location. But again, textures on low in this part. I mean, look at this texture. That's terrible. And thank you so much, Pusher, for becoming an awesome supporter 1.0. Thank you so much, man, for becoming a member. I hope you enjoyed the icon next to your name and the emojis that come with it. The Stutter Fantasy 7. That's a good one. But I mean, I'm not super angry about this. I'm more angry about the lack of options.
Looking good. Quality product makes a huge difference. Just
So yeah, the stutters, I'm used to it from Unreal Engine 4 games. Shouldn't be there, but it is. Present in many Unreal Engine 4 games. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of expecting to see that. But at the same time, it shouldn't be acceptable. So yeah, they just put this texture from the original Final Fantasy VII. Probably that texture is the entirety of Final Fantasy VII on PlayStation 1. But we need a patch. At least, I don't know, the shaders, make them compile before the game launches.
For candidates.
And that should do the job just fine. Many games do that. It's not a new thing.
Watch is here to keep the peace. If anything happens, we'll step in.
Anyway, let's do now 1440p. So here we go, 1440p, everything on low. 1440p, low textures, low shadows, and let's go. Okay, in here we're into the 40s. But again, considering the meta memory that high shadows use, I would keep shadows on low, personally. You'll get more stutter with high shadows. Is it achievable to get 30 on ultra settings? No. You can crank up those shadows to high to get 30 frames, but you're going to get more stutter even on 1080p. If you want high shadows for some reason, you can do it for 30 frames per second, you can lock it to 30, but I don't think it's worth it. I mean, the quality of the shadows is lower, you get a lower resolution, but I don't know, they still look okay, in my opinion.
That sword's massive. What was he so again?
If any harm comes to her,
Here's Scrap Boulevard.
I can see why monsters would feel right at home.
So yeah.
And the more we pile up, the more they
Yeah, just
show up.
contact Blizzard support, and they should be able to fix your issue.
And there's our first challenge.
No holding back.
Show me what you got.
I'm seeing when effects show up, it drops into the 30s, but 1440p for 30 frames, I'd say it's okay.
Don't overdo it.
Let me handle this.
I'm waiting.
Let's do the dive kick. So yeah, in this part at least, apart from getting more audience retention because of Tifa,
This was just
I get more of a hit to performance with the shadows. But again, shadows on low, I think they look okay. They still look good. It's a lower resolution shadow, but still. And man, that texture, disgusting. Give us medium textures, please. Let's kill the performance with high textures. Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Oh yeah, that's way better. Not amazing, but way better. I mean, you can do high textures if you want, but you're going to suffer in some areas due to the frame times.
good luck, Tifa, and be careful.
Yeah, look at this. Let's see that texture that looked terrible.
Searching for candy.
Let's see how it looks on high. Oh yeah. Gonna love running out of VRAM. Look at that RAM usage. When I go over the VRAM limit.
All the items you could want.
Oh yeah. Loving high textures. Although yeah, this texture looks a lot better on high. Still not great. Still looks pretty low resolution. Kinda disgusting. But on low, it literally looks like a PS2 texture. Look at this. On low, this texture is not even there. But it's way better on the frame time department. So yeah, don't even bother with high textures on 4GB GPUs. Anyway, let's go for the city once more. Let's do some fighting. Let's see how it holds up at 1440p. Yeah, Sigma males don't get affected by stutters or FPS drops. Yeah, it's just a nuisance. It doesn't affect us, it's just a nuisance.
Not going anywhere. Sector 8 units full. We have eyes on the target. We need
Yeah, it does get 30 frames. Neat.
Let's go.
Let's go. Sì, tal quale, Madraco. You should check the XVK option. It might help with frame timing. Nah, I'm good. I'm tired of tweaking stuff. The game should have those options to begin with.
You're done.
Most people will not do that. Although the XVK might help in this case, it helped me a lot in GTA 4 for the 570. Although it had a lot more stutter for GTA 4 for me, at least. But I got more FPS, so maybe in the future. There we go. It runs better than Final Fantasy 15, yeah, without a doubt. Although Final Fantasy 15 is a completely different engine. And Final Fantasy 15 also had a lot of stutter. I think they fixed that with the Gamepad version. Oh, dang it. I'm screwed. So yeah, 30 frames at 1440p is possible. Just keep everything on low and you're good to go. Nice rhyme. Santiago, did you hear me? No, I do not. If I heard you, I would be in deep trouble. Probably got doxed or something. Yeah, the combat is more fun than Final Fantasy 15, in my opinion. Yeah, it feels like you're actually doing something, in my opinion. And I like that it's a mix of the turn-based nature of the original. And I can do this. I can select an attack and he does it on its own. But I can also fight on my own. I can press square, well, X on the Xbox controller, and he does the attacks I want. So, big plus.
So much for the direct route.
Anyway, 1440p, as you can see, is fine. Just keep everything on low, and you're good to go. Let's do 4K now. Yeah, the VRAM didn't like that. Let's lower those characters displayed. The draw distance of the character to 0, which is the PS4 setting. And as you can see at 4K, it's hard for it to be at 30 frames. It's basically 20. So yeah, 4K, stay away on a 570. Maybe we can do 1800p like on the 1650 Super, but yeah. Here we go, 1800p. Okay. Yeah, 1800p, 30 frames. When looking that way, let's see when I look at the fountain. Still 30, if I look into the distance. Okay, 1800p it is. So 3200 by 1800. Let me restart the game though, just to make sure that everything is working properly. So yeah. If Santi heard you, he has schizophrenia. Yeah. Maybe I do have it. Why am I speaking alone? What the hell? Where am I? Who am I? What is real? Keep everything on low and you're good to go, Santiago. Yeah, true. That's how it goes. Whoa. I almost removed my keyboard. And my cables. Hang on, the save files are being synchronized. Come on, game. I wanna play. 1800p is PS4 Pro resolution? Good question. I don't remember. Let me check that out. Final Fantasy VII Remake PS4 Pro resolution. Okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake runs at 1080p on base PS4 and 1620p on PS4 Pro. So actually we're over the PS4 Pro settings, it seems. Let's see. Where's PS4 Pro? Yeah, 1620p. So yeah, 1620p. Interesting. Do you like Star Wars? I like it, but I do not dislike it. It's pretty meh to me. I'm not one of those original fans. Let's increase the characters display to 5. So we have decent draw distance for the characters, maybe on 3. A little bit over the PS4 version. Frame rate 120, doesn't matter. Dynamic resolution is off. 1800p, so according to the internet, 1620p is the PS4 Pro resolution, and it runs at 30 frames per second. So let's try first the slum to stress test the VRAM. The Force Awakens, Rey Skywalker, I don't know what that means. I just know the word Skywalker and Darth Vader, but that's about it. Also guys, remember that I was born watching the original trilogy is called, the Star Wars 1, 2 and 3. I never watched 4, 5 and 6. Okay, slums, let's run. 3200 by 1800, unusual, not really unusual, at least in the new consoles, it's a pretty It's a pretty common number. Instead of 4K, they do 1800p,
That bombed the reactor.
which is pretty close to 4K, and it gives you higher performance.
I knew he was
But it looks super sharp. So yeah, pretty good. RX 570 better than PS4 Pro. Depends on the game, really.
all the items you could want.
But yeah, this is looking good.
My chance to live next door to
If it's not stable, it will eventually be stabilized by fans. Yeah, the usual. I mean, there's already a mod to disable dynamic resolution. And there's probably mods to do
Here's scrap full of
other things like disabling motion blur.
Feel right at home.
And the more we pile up, the
If you
more
play the
there's
standard, is 1920 like by 1080 or like 1440p or 2160p. Yeah, but nowadays, if you look at people doing pixel counting, it's pretty normal to see 1800p. Just keep a lookout. It's a new thing, but they usually use it in newer games. Although we're not dropping below 30. So yeah, when effects show up, it likes to drop below 30. Let's try the city once again. There were movies after episode 6. In my brain is there movies after episode 3? That's how young I am. I was so confused when I saw that the 4th movie existed and it was made like 20 years ago back then.
HQ, this is Sector 8 Unit 4.
Okay, yeah, 1800p on the 570, not recommended. You can get 30s outside of the combat, but once you get into a more demanding place, you're going into the 20s, so yeah, no 1800p. Let's see if 1620p is available. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. This is a PS4 Pro resolution. Interesting. So this game has that option. To an 880 by 1620. I never played a game at this resolution on PC before, actually. Let's see. Okay. 30 frames per second. Good. Looks pretty sharp still. The old trilogy is the only movies that matter. Okay. I should probably watch them then. Does the CGI hold up? On the original trilogy, I mean. Because I know that there are multiple versions, but I never watched any of them. Yeah, definitely 1620p for the 570. Yeah, even when effects show up, it's good. I guess my PC runs best at 720 with high texture and high shadows. If you say so. I hope you have enough VRAM for that. That's kind of the issue on this one. Yeah, now it drops below 30 with many effects. But still, not super bad. I've seen worse. So yeah, 1620p I think for 30 frames on the 570. But that's about it.
no escape.
Best Star Wars movie is the Christmas special. Okay.
You're mine.
So for the 570, if you want 30 frames, 30-ish frames, 1620p. If you want 60 frames, 1080p low settings. And if you want a higher resolution without resorting to 1620p, you can do 1440p on low settings.
You're done.
Hey Paradise DK, Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is currently free on the Epic Games Store. Yeah, I know, I made a video, but thanks man for the heads up. Guys, if you haven't already, you still get a free game on the Epic Games Store every 24 hours. Right now, they're giving away Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, a game I love. I played it back in the day in 2018. It was given away for free before in 2019. but I think it's worth playing if you like XCOM or... Oh man, what's the name of this other game? XCOM or Wasteland? Pretty similar to those. So if you're into that stuff, I recommend you check it out on the Epic Games Store. Oh, you were joking about the Christmas special? Okay. Gotcha. So, conclusion. So, this game on DX11, if you don't have an HDR display, put it on DX11. No doubt about it. DX11, the stutters are still there, like many Unreal Engine 4 games. The first time it compiles the shaders, so it stutters. I hate that in Unreal Engine 4 games. This one is no exception. Then, there's very few options in the menu. Texture resolution, if you have a 4GB card, put it on low, no matter what. You're going to thank me later. Shadow resolution, low or high, I recommend low, uses less VRAM, is less demanding. Shadows on low still look okay. Frame rate, if you have dynamic resolution on, put it on whichever frame rate you want to achieve. And characters displayed is the draw distance of the characters on the bigger areas that have more NPCs. 10 should be okay. If you don't care, put it on 0. And you have a lot of pop-in for characters in cities. So yeah, overall, runs okay. DX11 is recommended. We need more options in the menu. If you want to disable dynamic resolution, there's a link in the description for that mod. You need a mod for dynamic resolution. If you have if you want to use DX11, that's pretty simple. Just go into your settings on the Epic Games Store. Go down here. And you need to add a command line argument called -DX11. And there you go. Dynamic resolution should still work on the X11. The only thing broken on the X11 is HDR and VSync. You need to enable VSync on the media control panel or your AMD control panel. And that's about it. Thanks again to Square Enix for providing a code of the game. But they need to improve this. Add more options, give us medium textures, give us even VSync or exclusive full screen. More stuff, please. And for the shader compilation issue, do like other developers do. Put the shader compilation before starting the game. Put just a long loading screen, compile all the necessary shaders, and it should be good to go. So yeah, I'm going to make a meme now, give me 1 second, because anything on high in Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's all your VRAM. So I'm going to make a quick meme. 1 second. I need to find it right away. Where is it? I'm pretty sure I thought about something. Yeah, no. Oh, it's not a meme generator. Oh, whatever. I'm going to make a quick one. So, me after putting high textures in Final Fantasy VII Remake. My 4GB GPU. There we go. I'm going to publish this meme in a second. It just came out of... Yeah, I think that's pretty appropriate. Yeah, I'm going to post that. What do you think about LA Noire? I love LA Noire, one of my favorite detective games. Highly recommended. Runs on anything nowadays, although it's locked at 30 frames. You can do 60s, but there are some issues, yeah, as always. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live stream, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys. Thanks for watching. Love you all. See ya. Thank you.